Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on Test MD TV. My name is Tess Washington, MD, board certified physician and surgeon. On this channel, we primarily discuss various ways that you can optimize your looks, love, wealth, and your health. If you are interested in hearing various ways that you can do holistic functional medicine, healthy ways, get off those medications that no one wants to take, who wants to take medication anyway, and just get more so on a healthier stride of life and possibly have a concierge doctor and have a healthy living community. Feel free to subscribe, tell your friends, come on back, and just kind of like snuggle in. Tonight, I'm going to share with you a article that was published discussing one of the new ways that the American Academy of Pediatrics would like to address the childhood obesity pandemic. The obesity thing with regards to children is just on another level. I mean, I remember when it was like an age determination as to when you would get like a cholesterol level check or when you would get certain things checked. We're checking the same labs in 8 year olds that we checking like 48-year olds, and they're coming back positive. And it's a lot. It's a lot going on with the children. And I know a lot of pressure has probably been on AAP. Do something about it. Do something about it. I do have a perspective as to, coming from the realms of a functional medicine doctor and someone who does hormones. And there may be another approach that we could take, but I'm not a mommy. So I can't necessarily say that I have dealt with whatever obstacles parents may have with trying to get their children to do some of the more healthy options. Also, the work schedules, and I take my hats off to anyone who is raising a family. So I'm definitely not coming from a critical point of view, which you will see when I share my thoughts with you. Hey, how's it going? How are you? There she is, guys. Hey, Susan's in the house. There she is. Hey, guys. So, we have a community. It's called Healthy Living Community. And in that community, let me tell you, it is nothing but healthy living. We have a financial health section, a mental health section, a physical health section, and we even have what's the section called that Susan is over our community of nurses. A community of nurses, we have community of medical students, and maybe you listening, you may be interested in one of these areas. I want other people to come in with their ideas, and we have resources, just all the hot off the press papers, and it's kind of like separated from social media, so we don't have to worry about getting canceled or anything like that. And like the AAP article, I'll make sure that I build a pediatric section. And with it being that it's my software, I can build on it whatever I want. So we didn't have anything for pediatrics, but now that I see that this is a topic that's going to be kind of, going on, we're going to make something for pediatrics. So who knows? We may have a pediatrician over it. Yeah. So, and, Susan, yeah, her energy, it's just going to be amazing. It's really going to be amazing, non-judgmental. I'll make sure like I have exercise routines for people who have had surgery. You had that knee surgery, that hip replaced. So, I'm just going to try to make it where everyone feels comfortable about being healthy. We got to make healthy cool again. Whatever happened to healthy being cool? When did being healthy fall out of favor? So let's do something about it. But without further ado, let's see what the article discusses with regards to pediatric obesity. And afterwards, I want to show you some clips from a video with someone who is kind of like taking a different perspective. All right, so basically the article, I think it came out yesterday, to be perfectly honest with you. Yes, from Health Magazine. And as you see, the American Academy of Pediatrics guidelines are the first to emphasize proactive measures for treating childhood obesity, which has risen in recent years. Experts recommend drugs, surgery for teen obesity in the new guidelines. So I'll go ahead and I'll download those guidelines and I'll put those guidelines in our healthy living community. I also will put them in the description of this video as I'm still building our archive of information in our community. But let's go through the article. For the first time ever, experts with the American Academy of Pediatrics are recommending proactive medical intervention against childhood obesity. The organization's new guidelines will no longer ask doctors to simply observe or delay in children with obesity, defined as a BMI over 30. I want you guys to hold on to that. We're going to discuss that in more detail very briefly. They instead now emphasize a range of options such as dietary and lifestyle, counseling for younger children, as well as medications and or surgery for children over 12 years old and over. Past standards for treating childhood obesity have called for watchful waiting, the hope being that a child's BMI as a measure of their blah blah blah, you guys know what a BMI is, would naturally lower over time as they grew. In 2007, the AAP recommendations promoted step growth, yada yada. Let me pause for a second. We are using thoughts, watchful waiting, from a time prior to the foods that we have available now, prior to a time when children weren't going outside for recess, when they weren't going outside playing catch a girl, kiss girl, hide and seek, hopscotch. So at that time, that was when you were going to the dynamics that, you have baby fat that's going to wear off or whatever. But these kids, they got adult fat at like 6 years old. So, you know, how are we going to have like a standard that's based on a precedent that is not even a precedent anymore? So that's a little bit special. But let's get back to the article. But the recommendations are first clinical practice guidelines to put obesity treatments front and center. So the obesity treatments that they are planning to utilize are, let's see. Well, basically, I mean, I already read the article, so it's kind of hard for me to just read step by step. But there's lengthy guidelines, and basically they're basing it on the child's age. But I hope that they're also taking into consideration, like measurements, as far as like abdominal girth, the percentage of muscle, the percentage of water, the density. And so I hope that they are still keeping this individualized. For younger children, these options can include intensive health behavior and lifestyle treatment, which can involve regular counseling sessions over a 3 to 12-month period. I gotta stop for a second. We already have fluffy children from sitting in the house and not exercising. Now we are recognizing that fluffy children are a problem. So now we're going to sit and counsel fluffy children. When are we ever going to get up and do a little? Let me get back to the article. Okay. So for children 12 and over, doctors are now advised to consider medications as a frontline option, and teen 13 and over are also evaluated for bariatric surgery as a potential treatment. We're talking about giving bariatric surgery to girls who haven't even had a period yet. We're talking about possibly if they decide to do a Roux-en-Y, of like changing around their anatomy, and they haven't even gone to the high school. Maybe run around the block. I don't know. Maybe. Now, I'm a board certified doctor, but I also signed up on my own. I'm at NASM, so I'm becoming a personal trainer. So once I become a personal trainer, if I have that obese child, I would actually feel comfortable giving him an exercise routine. How come I can't try that option? Why am I going straight to the pharmacy with a child? Let me get back to the article. In crafting its recommendations, the AAP cites many studies suggesting the benefits of treatment. The benefits of these treatments outweigh any potential risks that they may carry. Patients who have undergone bariatric surgery seem to have a lower risk of developing obesity-related complications such as diabetes type 2 when compared to non-surgical patients matched in age and BMI. Uh, let me see. So, first of all, there's a very good possibility that they have insulin resistance. There's a very good possibility that if we change their dietary regimen, now just, how are you going to sit up? Let me figure this out. Hold on a second. So, I'm in a counseling session. Okay, I'm in a counseling session. I'm in a counseling. That's what I'm going to follow the AAP guidelines. I'm in a counseling session and I'm sitting on the couch and I have a fluffy child and two fluffy parents. And I'm looking at the child like, little baby, why are you obese? And the parents are sitting here with some food, a leg of chicken and everything, and they looking like, yeah, yeah, little Bobby, do what the teacher. Ho- Maybe the parents exercise and instill that into their children. Just a thought. And as opposed to constantly teaching doctors to treat everything with drugs, how about we teach the doctors to treat with healthy lifestyle? And if they got to go through a little additional training, guess what? It's only going to help them because we are all physiological beings. So back to the article. I think we're pretty much done with that article. You guys, if you want to read that article, you can. But basically, that article is just discussing the plan. Okay. Now, as I was sharing over with my TikTok family, I understand how they're using like that BMI as 30 as their precedent to sway towards surgery because when a kid gets a certain size, there are some dynamics where they physiologically are an adult, not an adult, like you understand what I'm saying. Like their numbers are numbers that like if you're dosing up a medication and if you're putting their numbers in a computer, we're no longer on the pediatric scale. I get that. But I feel like, a child who is still prepubertal, I mean, they haven't gone through their hormonal change. They're still growing. They're still doing that. I just think that we're just like instilling easy options as opposed to just really doing the things that would really give us a longevity of life. How can you say post surgical intervention is going to give you a longer life when you risk surgical complications, right? So, but I use medication for weight loss in my office because I feel like let's take that monkey off your back. I mean, like if you're not thinking about food, it's a little bit easier to change your. So I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong, but maybe incorporate it with exercise, incorporate it with teaching the children how to prepare meals healthy, incorporate it with the medication being more so short term than long term. And just because the article says this doesn't mean that this is the only tactic that they're going to use. So I know there's a lot of great people that work with AAP, and they want the best for everyone as well. So here it is. All right, check this video out.
We are back tonight with continuing coverage of the fight against childhood obesity. As we first told you yesterday, the American Academy of Pediatrics is recommending earlier, more aggressive action in forms of medication and surgery. This all comes as area doctors say 1 in 5 Cleveland children are suffering from obesity. News 5's Bryn Caswell tells us how diabetes medicine is helping with weight loss and why one gym is working to deter kids from getting to that point.
Obesity is an epidemic for children across the U.S. That's why the American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends more aggressive treatments younger.
I think these guidelines were long overdue.
One of those treatments being medication for teens 12 and older and surgery for 13 years old and up.
What they do is they're targeting our insulin production and our body's response to insulin. And they also help again with hunger and satiety or feelings of fullness.
So burpee is real simple. You go down, come up.
Head trainer at Little Giants Gym, Michael Blue, says the statistic that 1 in 5 Cleveland children is fighting obesity must change.
Now, kids have gotten to a place where they're so technology driven that they rather not do the things that make them uncomfortable. They rather sweat in the video game than sweat in real life.
Here at Little Giant, they encourage kids to lose weight the more natural way by doing things like boxing, cardio, dance, and even lifting weights.
Come on, get in plank position. Let's go.
There is a difference between actually actively, physically participating in something and sitting down on the sideline and moving your thumbs.
The AAP guidelines reveal behavioral and lifestyle treatment as young as 6 years old is equal important.
The first thing that we say is let's throw on this medication. Sometimes we'll have kids do drills where they're coming through the cones.
Blue trains kids as young as 5 years old.
Keep working.
And says above all, fighting obesity stems from a place of love.
So I think once we establish something from the beginning, they have a lifelong tool that they can use to not only add health and value to their lives, but help other people too.
Reporting in Euclid, Bryn Caswell, News 5.
What he said. And I actually think that this is a good thing because I may not be a parent, but I have, most of my friends are parents. And I know when it comes down to their kids, there's no hold bar, right? So if parents are being presented by a pediatrician, we want to put your kid on a medication or surgery, that parent will start to change their lifestyle. And then the parent will be like, you know what? Ever since I started helping little Bobby lose his weight, my insulin requirement went down and I'm not even on medication anymore. I actually see this as to be a good thing. And isn't it funny, guys, like for any of my people that are like a little bit older, aren't those exercises kind of like what we used to do outside during recess? But if you notice, if we just go back to a lot of the things that most of us were raised on, it actually just makes everything else better as far as health. Who knew? So I know, I know, Susan, but basically I know, but looking at it like from the perspective of the AAP, it's so difficult being a committee. They got to do something. They can't just sit. But I tell you what, those are some really good people, and I bet they're like, ugh, we hope that we don't have to do this, and they probably are just like stating that they're going to do it because they're probably hoping that this will kick the parents into gear. So I, for one, as a doctor, I love studying that stuff. If there are any healthcare providers, why don't you consider increasing your credentials in various healthcare areas, various fitness areas? Like I said, it doesn't have to be in a NASM like ACE or one of the other certifications, and just teach your classes virtual, or just get on one of the social media platforms, just give a tip for the day, and you will see a positive outcome in your office, right? I mean, the kids are online anyway, so put a healthy exercise in front of them, and I'll be like, oh my God, that's my pediatrician. She's so cool. I'm gonna do it because she's doing it. You never know. So that's our commentary for this evening, and I hope you enjoyed the topic that we chose today. And we will be back tomorrow night with another topic. We do have other platforms that we will be bringing you content. The podcast and radio is back. We discussed that. It's just a matter of getting everything organized and getting on a consistent structure that I can keep, that I can stick with. Because I just picked up another hospital. I think I shared with you guys. So we have the virtual practice, and I'm on staff at 2 hospitals. And I'm trying to maintain our online content, plus, caring for my mother. So it's not easy, but I feel like everything I'm doing, I'm helping someone. So it's important. So I got to keep doing it. Come on back tomorrow night to Test MD TV. If you like this kind of content, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and run outside and exercise. Stop looking at me. Take care.